Welcome back to Odd Scoops. Today we're going to be making pineapple upside down cake. Whoa. All right, that's much better now. Now, for those of you who didn't see last week's episode, we spun our wheel of more churn and we landed on pineapple upside down cake. Now, this is one I'm really excited for. This is a very fun summer dessert, but today we're gonna be trying to turn that into ice cream. In order to make this successful, I feel like there's so many different components within this. It needs to be kind of separated in different phases. So I think phase one is going to be trying to get the cake flavor into the milk. So I think for that, we're going to steep one of these cupcakes. As far as the pineapple, I'm going to simulate what happens with the pineapple when it's in the oven. So I'm going to take some pineapple, brown sugar, and butter and put that on the stove. So I'm going to let it caramelize and cook in there. And then once that's ready, I will then add that to our mixture. And then hopefully combining all of those ingredients together will lead to a successful pineapple upside down cake flavor. Pineapple upside down cake, people usually add cherries in there, but it's such a small aspect, I'm actually not gonna add any cherries. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit of cherry extract in hopes to have like a hint of that flavor, but I don't wanna add a bunch because I don't want to overpower the pineapple and the cake flavor, which are the heroes of the pineapple upside down cake. We got a good game plan, and let's go ahead and head over to the stove and get cooking. Okay, we're gonna start with our cup of milk. And then next, I decided I was gonna start with only half of a cupcake. I don't want a ton of this in here based off of our previous ice creams where we've added a bunch of baked goods. Less is more. So I'm just going to kind of break this one up. Then I'm gonna leave this on low heat and just kind of stir this and let those flavors get integrated for a while. Okay, it's been a few minutes and this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna put this to the side, and next we are gonna start working on caramelizing our pineapple. Okay, next we're gonna be adding our pineapple and our brown sugar and butter. And this will be a half cup of pineapple. And in case you want the recipe, that'll be in the description below. I'm just gonna add that. Okay, this should be good to go. I'm going to pull this off the stove and let it cool a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and head back to the workstation and combine the rest of our stuff together to bake our ice cream. Okay, so first we're gonna add our caramelized pineapple and kind of a sauce there. And pour that in there. Then next we're going to go ahead and strain in all of our cupcake infused milk. You can see already that's just cupcake chunks and we don't want that. It's gonna add a weird texture. Well, looks like someone's microphone died. Luckily, I'm here to fill you in on what you missed. I added guar gum, vanilla extract, and a little bit of cherry extract. And then luckily, I realized my microphone had died, and we are back in 3, 2, 1. All right, this is looking pretty good. Smells amazing. I'm getting pretty good smell from the vanilla and a little bit of the pineapple. But not as much as I would expect, but I think that's because the pineapple hasn't fully been blended up, and so it hasn't released all of its flavor yet. So that should change once everything happens in the Ninja Creami, but I think for now, it's ready to put in the freezer and see how it turns out tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day. Let's see how this turned out. So this definitely got darker and it's a bit lumpy on the top. I don't know if you can see right there. And I think that's just from the pineapple chunks that are in here. I'm definitely getting some of the vanilla, some of the pineapple, and surprisingly, I'm getting the cherry extract flavor. But yeah, I think this looks good right now, and I think we're ready to go ahead and blend it up. Okay, this is looking really good, and it looks like it has a good consistency, so I am really excited for this. That's what that looks like right there. Yeah, I'm definitely getting more of the pineapple smell from this, but it's definitely kind of this like cakey pineapple smell, which is, you know, what pineapple upside down cake is. Now, I did debate putting pineapple in as a mix-in, but I felt like this was better to have as is, and then I would add the pineapple as a topping instead. So we're gonna go with that, but I think for now, we're ready to go ahead and dish up and give this a try. This is super thick. Okay, there it is. This is looking super good. Check that right there. The texture I was getting from when I was scooping this ice cream felt very rich and creamy. So I would say this is probably the creamiest or thickest ice cream I've made. And I'm guessing what's probably causing that is all of the butter and brown sugar that was added in here. There's a lot of other components that would help thicken this along with having fruit. So yeah, I'm really excited to try this. Been thinking about this all day while it's in the freezer. So let's go ahead and dig in. Bon appetit.
I have a pear, I have pineapple, pineapple pear.
That's a 10.
Oh, all right. We're cooking with this. Gonna try another bite with the pineapple chunk. Okay. All right, this is something. Now, I know some people have probably made their own, but this is just phenomenal. I will say this is by far the richest and thickest ice cream I've made, and that works perfectly with this. And for those who have seen me make the Twinkie ice cream or the donut ice cream, both of those had an issue with having this kind of leftover residue, which my guess was because of the oil that was in the baked good. So this was the first one where I only steeped it, but I did not include the baked good in the ice cream. And I think that works perfectly. I'm getting great flavor from the cake, but I'm not getting any of that kind of leftover residue from there. Pineapple comes through really well. Actually, I kind of think it could use more pineapple, either with pineapple extract or maybe some pineapple juice could help with that. Also, the inclusion of the frozen pineapples that I have here, perfect. Still don't think I would mix them in just because there might be some bites where you don't want it in there, so it gives you that option. But frozen pineapple chunks on top of this ice cream, solid win. Highly recommend doing that. One thing I think that's not hurting this ice cream, but definitely was something I was afraid of, was the cherry extract. I think I added just a smidge too much. Not that it overpowers anything, it was just stronger than I was anticipating it to be. But not a bad thing. This is a delicious ice cream, and really my only complaint is maybe a little bit less of the cherry extract. That's really it. Like, this is, I mean, look at this. That's just like a really good looking ice cream right there. So because of all of this, I feel like I don't have an option. I have to give this a 5 out of 5 scoops. This is such a great ice cream and definitely going in one of the top ones of the year. I feel like texture-wise, everything about this works. It's really was like nitpicking is I might have added just a little bit too much of the cherry extract. And who knows, maybe just adding a cherry, or maybe even not adding cherry extract and just putting a frozen cherry on top would do the trick. But yeah, I highly recommend you try making this at home. This is an absolute win. Perfect blend of the cakiness, but with like the citrus of the pineapple. This just works. So yeah, pineapple upside down cake as ice cream works super, super well. Highly recommend you try making it. Okay, it's time to spin the wheel. And as always, if you have any suggestions for names, feel free to put those in the comments below. Okay, I guess we will call that salted watermelon, which is exciting. I have a couple ideas on what I want to do, but until then, I'll see you guys next week.